What is going on, friends? This is Matt Carter, that YouTube realtor, and thanks for joining me. If this is your first time to my channel, I go over everything real estate related within the city of London, as well as covering just the details of the city. So if you are looking to make a move into the city of London, or just looking for a little bit more information on the city itself, this is the video for you. Now let's jump right in. So the City of London was founded just under 200 years ago. We are coming up on the 200th anniversary in 2026, so that's pretty exciting. I'm sure the city's going to have a lot to do in the next couple of years. But just some information, what we're looking at in terms of population, we are the 15th largest city in Canada, as well as the 11th largest metropolitan area if you count the surrounding areas around the City of London. So right now within the city, according to last year's data, we're sitting just over 422,000 people that reside in the city. And if you count those towns and those areas just outside the city, the greater London area, if you will, we're sitting just around 544,000 people or so. So historically, the City of London has had pretty steady growth over the years in terms of people coming in and moving into the city and just population growth in general. But in the last 5 years, since 2016, we've seen a pretty big jump, and we've actually had a 10% increase in our population. This is probably due to the increased affordability of the area, which I'll get into, as well as just people trying to get away from the big hustle and bustle of the GTA, where a lot of people like to start their careers and their families, but eventually want to move to something a little quieter, a little bit slower paced than the GTA. So London is a pretty attractive area for that reason. Also to note, the median income for the City of London is just around the $65,000 per year, just before taxes there, and the average income is going to be around the $82,000 mark per year. So definitely a decent wage, and if you compare to those bigger areas like the GTA and everything, cost of living is going to be a little bit cheaper here as well. So that money is going to go a little bit further than, let's say, it would in downtown Toronto. So again, that's why it's been such an attractive area for people to move into in the last few years. So stemming from that, and the reason why a lot of people moving here and how they're making all their money, the biggest industries that we are seeing in the City of London is primarily in the healthcare space. The medical and medical research is a huge industry in the city, as well as insurance and other technological industries. There's a big rising tech industry. A lot of people are moving here, starting up companies in the last little while, and I'm pretty sure the tech industry now makes up about 3% of the workforce of London. So some of the largest employers in the area we're going to have, number one is going to be London Health Sciences Centre, or LHSC is what we all call it here. It's going to be the ones that run all the hospitals around here, all the research, and like I said, London is a pretty big hotspot for medical research, so they do employ a lot of people within the city. Next up, we're going to see the Thames Valley District School Board. It is one of the largest school boards in all of Ontario, and I believe one of the largest across Canada as well. It covers a very large area and employs a ton of people. Next, we go back to the healthcare sector, and we have St. Joseph's Healthcare. Similar to LHSC, they do a lot of that medical research, things like that. They do have their own hospitals in the city as well. Going down from that, kind of into a different sector, we have TD Canada. So if you go downtown the City of London, you'll see the big TD building. They have a giant office here. They employ a ton of people. Moving on from that, we have the education sector, which is also a huge industry in the city. Right now we have Western University, which is, again, one of the largest employers of the city, a great university, which I'll get into in a little bit. And then a few others of the largest employers we have are the actual City of London itself, Fanshawe College, another post-secondary education here, General Dynamics, which is a manufacturer, as well as Canada Life, the insurance company. So moving on from the industry, we move into the post-secondary, and it's a big driving factor of the city. We have both Western University, as I mentioned, and its satellite campuses such as Brescia, Huron, King's College, and as well as Fanshawe College as well, which together, when the school season's in, that's going to add to the population anywhere from 60 to 80,000 students who are going to be living in the city during that time. Western also has a great reputation as a business school as well as a medical school, hosting both of Ivy School of Business as well as the Schulich School of Medicine. So where a lot of people look to get those business specializations such as their MBA, as well as where they come to get their doctorate, doctor's educations and move into into the medical field. Fanshawe also has a great number of programs as well that they're pretty reputable for. They have a ton of great programs, from business degrees as well as a bunch of arts and media programs as well, that people come from all across not only Ontario and Canada, but internationally as well. Right below the post-secondary, we have just the general education system that you would send your kids to. We have the Thames Valley District School Board that I spoke about before, one of the largest, and the largest, I believe, in Ontario, largest boards that stretches not only within the city, but those surrounding areas as well as the London Catholic School Board in the city. We also have a couple different private schools in the city, from Montessori schools to other private learning centers. So a variety of different things for anybody, no matter what you are looking for. So moving on to the housing sector, that's kind of my specialty. I am a realtor. I work here in the city of London and service the surrounding areas as well. So if you're looking for any other information aside from what I'm talking about today, make sure you reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you. At the time of this video, the average price of a home is around $824,000 in the city of London. It's quite a bit higher than it was since the last couple of years. We've had a huge influx of people moving into the city, like I spoke about with that growth rate, as well as just people finding newfound equity in their home over the last couple of years. Right now, we're seeing a ton of new development both in the north and the west ends of town, and it's not anywhere close to be able to keep up with the demand that we're seeing right now, unfortunately. But we are seeing, as well, attributing to those rising prices, new homes in the area are going to be well north of the $1 million mark. There seems to be a bit of a higher demand for those higher end homes, getting into the luxury homes. Again, I think it goes back to people with newfound equity in their homes over the last couple of years with prices going up so much. So they're looking to move into something long term, a little bit more of the higher end lifestyle in the north and the west end of the city. There's also a ton of new development going around in the surrounding areas of the city, with prices going up so much within the actual city of London. Surrounding towns such as Thorndale, Komoka, Mount Bridges, even out into Strathroy, we're getting big increases in prices out there as new construction starts in those cities. It's actually a pretty hot topic right now with some of the builders within the city. We've kind of reached our borders in terms of where we can build to in the actual city of London. So there are talks right now whether we should be expanding those borders, which again will drive the cost of that land just outside the city up even more. But a bigger topic is the question of whether we should be doing more infill within the city and building up rather than out. So it's a big topic right now, but nonetheless, there is a lot of new build and new construction going on in the city. Again, not enough to keep up with the demand, but there is always stuff in the works around here. For the geography of London, we are located about 2 hours west of Toronto, 2 hours east of Windsor and Detroit area, right in the middle of those two hubs. So it's a great spot if you are, some people like to commute to either of those cities for work. It can be a little bit more cost effective in terms of cost of living here and doing the commute. But also it's just a great spot right in the middle. You're really close if you want to go into Toronto, if you want to see some concerts, Maple Leafs games, Raptors, whatever the case may be. And also you're really close to the border as well. You can hop over to Detroit or even Buffalo if you want to go over to Niagara Falls, and jump into the States if you want certain amenities there, such as shopping or other sporting events, other concerts, venues such as that. We're also right in the middle of two lakes, both Erie and Huron. So to the north, we have about 45 minutes, we get to Grand Bend, and to the south, we go about 45 minutes to Port Stanley. Both great beaches, both a little bit different environments in terms of what you're looking for if you're looking to get out there for a beach day, but it's always a great time no matter what you're doing. Those are two towns that have a ton of different amenities and restaurants, everything. Great way to spend not just an afternoon, but maybe a weekend or a little mini vacation if you're looking to get out of the city. So within the actual city of London, on the north end of town, what I spoke about that's kind of where a lot of the newer builds in the last 10 to 15 years, a lot of development has happened there and is still happening these days. So Masonville area, Sunningdale, Foxfield, even over into Stony Creek, you're going to have a lot of great little neighborhoods in there. I should say larger neighborhoods now, but great neighborhoods up there, a ton of amenities close by. We have Masonville Mall, which is a big hub up there, tons of restaurants, shopping, stores, anything that you're really looking for, you're going to be able to find on the north end of town. And on the south end of town, we have another kind of hub for everything. And we have the White Oaks Mall down there, which is similar to Masonville. You got everything that you're looking for in terms of stores, restaurants, shopping, things of that nature. And your neighborhoods such as Pond Mills, Westminster, White Oak, all going to be a little bit more affordable areas of town historically. They're generally built back in the 70s and 80s, so different styles, homes. A lot of people who are looking to enter the housing market are going to be looking in these areas most likely, but even then we have seen a pretty big increase in the prices in these areas recently as well. In the South End, you're also super close to the 401, so if you're looking to commute anywhere, this is going to be a pretty good area for you to start looking if you're looking to make a move into the city. So next we have kind of the central area of town. This is where we have our downtown core area called areas called Old North and Old South. So you're going to have a ton of character homes in this area, century homes. This is where all the initial building and establishment of the town of London that became the city of London started. So you're going to have a ton of great houses in there, mature neighborhoods, and all the amenities that are going to get downtown. Not a ton of shopping, more so than just the street side shopping that you're going to get in the downtown core, so no big malls or anything like that, but you do get a ton of great restaurants in the downtown area. So if you're looking for something that's walking distance for restaurants, things of that nature, and just great mature character homes in the area, that's going to be a great place to look. So then we have the west end of the city, which is going to be a lot of desirable areas that a lot of families look to move into eventually once they're in their second, maybe third homes. Areas like Byron, Westmount, Lambeth, which is a little more south. We have Talbot area, Oak Ridge. So we just have a lot of great family neighborhoods, a lot of great school districts in these areas as well. So as I mentioned, a lot of these neighborhoods people want to move into as they get more established throughout their life. And there's not a ton of malls and shopping and things of that nature that's centralized in those areas, those big box stores, anything like that. But you're not too far from the north end and the south end if you do need to make a trip to either of those areas. Finally, we have the east end of town, which if you go pretty far east in the city, we have the airport, which services a ton of areas within Canada now. It's expanding every single year, so it's great to see that growth happening on that end. But as we start to get a little bit closer into the city, we get some industrial areas happening to the east end of town. And as we start to get a little more central, we get into, again, some of those earlier, more original areas of the city. You have your Old East Village, Carling, Huron Heights, just areas that you're going to find, a little bit older homes as well, 40s, 50s, 60s built. Again, similar to the south end of town in some areas that you're going to have those first-time home buyers, a little bit cheaper options in terms of housing goes. But again, you're never too far away from any of the amenities that you're going to need throughout the city. So I hope this gives you a brief overview of the city of London. I'll be definitely making some more videos about particulars about the city, some pros and cons. So if you are going to be moving into the city of London, keep an eye out for that video because I'll be going over things to look for, things to consider in certain areas of the city if you're going to be moving here. So make sure in order to stay informed for all these videos, you hit that like button at the bottom, subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell so you turn on notifications. So when those videos come out in the future, you'll be the first one to know about them. So until my next videos, I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to pass this along to anybody that you think would benefit from this content. And until then, take care.